The message that changed everything arrived at 0300 Earth Standard Time. Director Jackson Cole stood in the dimly lit command center of Earth Defense Force headquarters, his dark skin ashen as the footage played on the main screen. Behind him, Admiral Regina Walsh covered her mouth, horror evident in her steel-gray eyes. "Play it again," Jackson ordered, his voice hoarse. From the beginning. The footage, captured by a stealth probe, showed the truth about the Axiom Alliance's research facilities on the outer colonies. What they'd claimed were medical centers for advancing both species' understanding were actually laboratories of horror. Hundreds of humans, men, women, children, suspended in crystalline chambers, subjected to biological experiments that defied description. 17 facilities, Regina whispered, her hands clenching into fists. 17 facilities just like this one, spread across our outer colonies. And we thanked them. We actually thanked them for offering to help our people. The Axiom Alliance had arrived 3 years ago, presenting themselves as benevolent advanced beings who wanted to help humanity reach its full potential. Their crystalline ships and quantum technology had dazzled Earth's scientists. Their offers of medical advancement had seemed too good to refuse. "Sir," Lieutenant Kai Nakamura called from his station, "we're receiving new data from the Aegis probe. They are not just experimenting on the colonists. They are harvesting something." Jackson moved to Kai's station, reading the analysis with growing dread. The Axiom weren't just conducting experiments, they were extracting what they called evolutionary potential from human subjects. Each extraction left the victim's mind shattered, their body a hollow shell. "They are stealing our future," Jackson said, his voice deadly quiet. "Taking what makes us human, our potential to grow, to evolve. To become more than we are." Regina's tablet chimed with an urgent message. "The Council is convening an emergency session. They want our assessment and recommended response options." Jackson stared at the screen, at the faces of the suffering colonists. Humanity had trusted, had opened their arms to the stars with hope and optimism. The Axiom had taken that trust and twisted it into something monstrous. "They crossed a line," he said, each word carved from ice. "This isn't just an act of war. This is an attempt to steal humanity's very essence, our children's future." He turned to his command staff, seeing the same cold fury in their eyes that burned in his heart. "Initiate Protocol Umbra. Authorization Black 0. It's time to show them why you don't cage humanity. Why you don't experiment on our people. Why you don't steal our children's futures." Regina's eyes widened. "Protocol Umbra? That's beyond classified. The Shadow Fleet hasn't even been tested in combat conditions." "The Shadow Fleet is exactly what we need," Jackson replied. "The Axiom think they know humanity's capabilities. They think they've measured and calculated everything about us. They are about to learn how wrong they are." Deep beneath the lunar surface, in bunkers whose existence was known only to a handful of people, something stirred. Ships black as the space between stars, incorporating technology that should have been impossible for humanity to possess. Weapons that defied conventional physics. And soldiers trained in arts of war that would make even the Axiom's crystalline forms shatter in terror. "Send the word to all Shadow commanders," Jackson ordered. "Operation Nightfall begins in 6 hours. I want strike teams ready to hit all 17 facilities simultaneously. No survivors among the Axiom staff. Rescue every human possible, but the primary objective is to ensure no research data survives. The Axiom's leadership needs to learn that their actions have consequences." He paused, looking at the faces of his command staff. "They crossed the line. Now Earth will answer with shadow and fury. And when we're done, the Axiom Alliance will understand why humanity was never meant to be caged, studied, or harvested. We will show them what happens when you awaken humanity's darkness." As the command center erupted into activity, Jackson sent a private message to the Council: "Implementation of Protocol Umbra authorized. The Shadow War begins tonight. May God have mercy on the Axiom, because humanity's fury will not." Across Earth's secret facilities, ships that seemed to drink in light itself powered up their engines. Special forces teams in suits that bent reality around them prepared for deployment. And in laboratories hidden from the sun, weapons born from humanity's darkest imagination were armed. The line had been crossed. And Earth's answer would echo across the stars, written in shadow and fury. Shadows rippled against the stars as the EFS Wraith materialized in the void behind Axiom Station 9. Commander Nisha Patel stood on her bridge, watching through tactical displays as 5 more shadow vessels phased into existence around the massive research facility. 6 weeks had passed since the revelation of the Axiom's atrocities, and humanity's response was about to show its teeth. "All ships report ready," Lieutenant Marcus Wong whispered from his tactical station. In the Shadow Fleet, even communications were designed to merge with the darkness. Ghost teams standing by for insertion. Nisha touched the neural interface at the base of her skull, connecting directly with the Wraith's quantum systems. The ship's sensation flowed through her consciousness, its hunger for vengeance matching her own. The Shadow Fleet vessels were more than mere ships, they were humanity's darkest dreams given form, built in secret even as the Axiom thought they were monitoring all of Earth's technological development. "Begin Phase 1, she ordered, her voice cold. "Let's show them what happens in the dark." Across the void, 6 teams of shadow operators launched from their ships. Their suits, like liquid darkness given form, bent light and reality around them. These were the elite of Protocol Umbra, soldiers who had undergone modifications that would make even hardened veterans shudder. Not monsters, they had volunteered to become something more, something that could fight humanity's nightmares. Marcus called, picking up increased activity in the station's defense grid. They might have detected something. Nisha smiled grimly. No. They are about to detect something else entirely. Launch the Phantoms. From the Wraith's belly, dozens of small drones emerged. They looked like fragments of shadow, designed specifically to trigger the Axiom's defensive sensors. As planned, the station's automated systems began tracking these false targets, drawing attention away from the real threat already moving through their halls. Inside the station, Ghost Team Alpha moved like living shadows. Captain Dante Rivera led his squad through corridors lined with crystalline technology, their modified consciousness allowing them to perceive the quantum fluctuations that powered Axiom tech. What had once seemed like magic now revealed its weaknesses to human eyes, enhanced by humanity's own quantum discoveries. Primary research lab ahead, Dante subvocalized through the neural net. Confirming multiple Axiom signatures. They are doing it again. Active experiments in progress. Through his enhanced senses, he could detect the screams. The Axiom hadn't stopped their horrific work, they'd accelerated it, trying to extract as much evolutionary potential as possible before humanity could respond. "Show them our shadows," Nisha's voice whispered through the neural link. "Show them our fury." Ghost Team Alpha moved. Their weapons, quantum disruptors disguised as primitive projectile firearms, shattered the crystalline forms of Axiom researchers before they could even register human presence. The beings who had thought themselves so superior, who had treated humans like lab specimens, died in confusion and terror. "Research data secured," reported Lieutenant Sophia Chen, her modified fingers interfacing directly with Axiom computers. "Uploading to Wraith." "Sir, there's more." They were planning to expand. Dozens more facilities, millions more subjects. "Not anymore," Dante replied, planting quantum charges at key structural points. "Nisha, we're ready for Phase 2. On the Wraith's bridge, Nisha felt her ship's systems align with the other shadow vessels. What they were about to do would reveal capabilities humanity had kept hidden, but the message had to be sent. The Axiom needed to understand exactly what they had awakened. "All Ghost teams, clear the station," she ordered. "Prepare for Shadow Strike Protocol." As the teams extracted, the 6 shadow ships began to move. Their quantum cores, reverse-engineered from stolen Axiom tech and enhanced by human innovation, pulsed with dark energy. The station's crystal structure began to resonate, frequencies carefully calculated to shatter their molecular bonds. "They are finally detecting us," Marcus reported. Distress calls being sent to nearby Axiom forces. "They are beginning to understand." Good, Nisha said. Execute Shadow Strike. The Shadow Fleet's combined quantum pulse hit the station like a wave of darkness made solid. Crystal shattered, quantum cores imploded, and the pride of Axiom research collapsed in on itself. But this wasn't mere destruction. The Shadow Strike encoded a quantum signature into every fragment, a message that would be readable by any Axiom sensor. We are humanity's shadow. We are humanity's fury. You crossed the line. Now learn to fear the dark. As the station died, Nisha received reports from across Axiom space. 5 other facilities had been hit simultaneously, all with the same precision, all carrying the same message. The Shadow Fleet had announced its existence in a language of vengeance and night. Multiple Axiom warships entering the sector, Marcus announced. They are trying to track us. Let them try, Nisha replied, feeling the Wraith system sing through her neural link. Activate Shadow Drive. Show them what it means to chase darkness. The Shadow Fleet phased out of normal space, leaving behind destruction and terror. In the fragments of their ruined station, the Axiom would find not just debris but a promise: humanity would not be contained, would not be studied, would not be harvested. They had wanted to understand human potential, now they would experience it in its darkest form. Back on Earth, Director Cole received the mission report with grim satisfaction. Phase 2 of Protocol Umbra was already beginning: the deployment of shadow cells throughout Axiom space, the infiltration of their networks, the preparation for a war unlike any they could have imagined. They had crossed the line, thinking humanity weak and predictable. Now they would learn just how deep humanity's shadows could run, and how hot its fury could burn. The Axiom High Council's central chamber glittered like a cave of crystal, its towering spires reflecting the light of 3 suns. But today, those reflections were interrupted by holograms showing scenes of devastation. Admiral Thrix, his crystalline form pulsing with angry red patterns, watched as another colony went dark. Impossible, he growled, his translated voice sharp with frustration. They were primitive. We analyzed every aspect of their technology. They couldn't have. The chamber plunged into darkness. When the lights returned seconds later, the council found themselves staring at a human woman standing in the center of their supposedly impenetrable chamber. Director Amara Singh, her dark uniform seeming to drink in the light, smiled coldly at their shocked expressions. You analyzed what we wanted you to see, she said, her voice carrying across the chamber. You crossed a line. Now witness what you've awakened. Above the chamber, the vast fleet of Axiom warships that protected their homeworld suddenly lost power. Hundreds of ships, their crystalline forms now dark and lifeless, drifted in space. On every command screen across their empire, the same message appeared: darkness falls. Fury rises. Thousands of light-years away, aboard the EFS Nemesis, Fleet Admiral Victor Santos watched the operation unfold through his neural interface. The massive command ship, heart of humanity's revealed fleet, hung in space surrounded by vessels that no longer hid their true nature. Gone were the shadows of stealth operations, this was humanity's fury unleashed. All strike groups report ready, announced Tactical Officer Yuki Tanaka, her augmented eyes glowing with quantum energy. The Axiom defense grid is compromised. Ghost teams have planted quantum disruptors throughout their key systems. Victor nodded, feeling the combined power of Earth's true fleet through his neural link. Begin Phase 3. Show them everything. Across Axiom space, humanity's response transformed from shadow strikes into an overwhelming display of technological might. Ships emerged from quantum space, their designs a perfect fusion of stolen Axiom knowledge and human innovation. Weapons that the Axiom had thought centuries beyond human capability opened fire, shattering crystal ships and defense stations. In the council chamber, Amara watched the Axiom leaders' reactions as screens showed their empire crumbling. You thought you could experiment on us? Harvest our potential. We let you think you were superior while we learned your weaknesses. While we prepared. A massive hologram appeared, showing the full extent of humanity's hidden fleet. Ships of impossible design, powered by quantum cores that the Axiom had thought they alone could master. Weapons that turned their crystalline technology against them. And at the center, the Nemesis, a vessel that represented humanity's full potential unleashed. Your arrogance was your weakness, Amara continued, walking around the council table. You saw what you expected to see, a young species, easily controlled, easily harvested. You never asked why we seemed to accept your presence so easily. Why we shared our colony's locations so freely. Why we appeared to trust you without question. Admiral Thrixer's crystalline form flickered with fear patterns. What are you? We are humanity's answer to those who cross the line, she replied. For every facility where you tortured our people, we built a hidden shipyard. For every experiment you conducted, we reversed engineered your technology. For every drop of blood you spilled, we prepared a response that would shake your empire to its foundations. The Nemesis's quantum cannons opened fire, their beams cutting through spacetime itself to strike targets across multiple systems simultaneously. Their weapon was humanity's own innovation, born from studying Axiom technology and pushing it far beyond its creator's imagination. All primary targets neutralized, Yuki reported. Axiom military command structure is in chaos. Their quantum network is corrupted with our virus. They can't coordinate a response. Victor opened a channel to all Earth forces. Launch the primary assault. Show them humanity's fury in full. Waves of ships dropped their stealth fields, revealing an armada that dwarfed anything the Axiom had believed possible. But these weren't just warships, they were carrying something the Axiom feared more than any weapon. You wanted to study human potential. Amara asked the council. You wanted to understand what makes us unique? Look carefully. This is human potential unleashed. This is what happens when you force humanity to embrace both shadow and fury. The ships deployed specially enhanced human troops, their bodies and minds augmented by technology that merged Axiom science with human determination. They moved through crystal cities like avenging spirits, their actions precisely calculated to demonstrate not just military superiority, but the full extent of human advancement. We could destroy your empire today, Amara said, as reports of surrendering Axiom forces flooded in. We could shatter every crystal spire, burn every research facility, and ensure your species never threatens another again. But we're going to do something far worse. She smiled, and in that smile, the council saw the true face of humanity's fury. We're going to let you live. Live to remember this day. Live to tell others what happened when you crossed the line with humanity. Live to watch as we take our place among the stars, not as your subjects or specimens, but as your worst nightmare come true. The Nemesis's quantum core pulsed, sending a wave of energy that transformed every piece of Axiom technology in their home system. Their weapons became useless crystal. Their defenses turned transparent and brittle. Their proud ships hung in space like delicate sculptures. The Shadow War is over, Victor announced to his fleet. Now everyone will see humanity's power in the light. Let this be a lesson to any species that thinks to test us again. As Amara disappeared from the council chamber as mysteriously as she had arrived, her final words echoed through their quantum network, "You crossed the line. We answered with shadow and fury. Remember this day, for it marks not just your defeat, but humanity's emergence as a power that will never again be underestimated." The day became known across the galaxy as the Revelation, when humanity stepped out of the shadows and showed its true face to the stars. The Axiom Empire, once proud and unstoppable, found itself transformed into a cautionary tale, a reminder of what happens when you awaken humanity's darkness and face its unrestrained fury. The Galactic Assembly Hall buzzed with nervous energy as representatives from 100 species gathered for an emergency session. Humanity's devastating response to the Axiom Empire had sent shockwaves through civilized space. On the central platform, Ambassador Raven Blackwood stood calm and composed, her obsidian-black diplomatic uniform a reminder of the Shadow Fleet that now patrolled Earth's expanding sphere of influence. "You hide your weapons in plain sight," accused the Zeth representative, his gelatinous form rippling with agitation. "Every human ship that claims to be a traitor could be." "Could be what?" Raven's voice cut through the chamber. "A shadow vessel? A carrier of fury." Her smile made several delegates shift uncomfortably. "That's the point. The Axiom crossed a line. Now everyone will remember the consequences. In the debris field that had once been the Axiom's primary military shipyard, Commander Ryuki Tanaka watched through the EFS Basilisk's quantum sensors as salvage teams worked. Dozens of formerly subjugated species had approached Earth after the revelation, seeking not just alliance but protection. The shadow of humanity's fury had become a beacon of hope for the oppressed. Another distress signal, reported Lieutenant Hannah O'Connor, her neural implants pulsing with incoming data. The Vedran Collective is requesting immediate assistance. Their outer colonies are under attack by Axiom loyalist forces. Ryuki's augmented eyes narrowed. The Axiom Empire had fractured after humanity's demonstration of power, but some factions refused to accept their fall from dominance. They lashed out at weaker species, claiming they would prove humanity's victory was a fluke. They still don't understand, he said quietly. Deploy the Wraith Wing. Show them what humanity's protection really means. Across disputed space, ships of shadow and steel emerged from quantum rifts. The Axiom loyalists found their crystalline weapons shattering, their supposedly impenetrable shields failing against human technology that had evolved far beyond their understanding. But more terrifying than their weapons was the psychological warfare, the way human ships seemed to appear from nowhere, strike with devastating precision, and vanish again into the dark. In Earth's primary military command center, Strategic Director Zara Khan reviewed reports from across the galaxy. The holographic display showed dozens of green dots representing species that had aligned themselves with humanity after witnessing their power. Red dots marked those who still resisted the new order, primarily Axiom loyalists and their few remaining allies. The dark tide rises, she murmured, watching as another system pledged allegiance to Earth's protection. Just as we planned. Her assistant, AI Construct Atlas, materialized beside her. Its holographic form, designed to resemble a classical statue wrapped in shadow, analyzed the tactical display. The psychological impact of the revelation continues to exceed projections. Species that once feared the Axiom now fear the mere mention of human involvement. Fear and hope, Zara corrected. We're not just showing them our fury. We're showing them what happens when someone stands up to the bullies of the galaxy. On a dozen worlds, human training teams worked with allied species, teaching them to defend themselves. But they weren't just sharing military tactics, they were spreading a philosophy. The message was clear: stand with humanity, and you'll never need to fear exploitation again. The Vedran situation resolved itself in less than 6 hours. The Wraith Wing's appearance sent the Axiom loyalists into a panic, their ships scattering like crystal shards in a storm. The Vedran leadership, watching their tormentors flee from human shadows, immediately petitioned for formal alliance with Earth. Interesting tactical choice, Ambassador Raven observed, reviewing the operation from the Galactic Assembly. We could have destroyed them all. Instead, they lived to spread the story, Ryuki replied through QuantumCom. Every survivor becomes a messenger. Every retreat reinforces the lesson. The lesson was spreading. Species that had once competed for the Axiom's favor now sought humanity's guidance. The shadow of Earth's fleet became a shield for the downtrodden, while its fury remained a sword hanging over any who would abuse their power. In the ruins of an abandoned Axiom research facility, a team of human scientists worked alongside representatives from 6 different species. They weren't just studying the technology, they were teaching, sharing, building bridges that would ensure no empire could ever again rise to threaten the weak. The galaxy's changing, Zara told her assembled staff. The Axiom thought they could harvest human potential. Instead, they released it. Now everyone sees what we can do, what we can be. She gestured to the holographic display, where the green dots of allied systems continued to multiply. This isn't just about revenge anymore. This is about reshaping the cosmic order. The dark tide of humanity's influence continued to rise. But unlike the Axiom's crystal towers, it wasn't built on exploitation and fear alone. It was built on a promise: cross the line against the innocent, and face humanity's shadow and fury. Stand with Earth, and find protection under the very same power. In the Galactic Assembly, Raven concluded her address to the gathered species. The Axiom taught us a valuable lesson. They showed us what happens when power goes unchecked, when the strong prey upon the weak. We learned that lesson well. Her eyes swept the chamber. Now we teach it to others. The question isn't whether humanity's dark tide will continue to rise. The question is, which side of that tide will you choose to be on? The assembly chamber fell silent as her words sank in. On the massive display behind her, another red dot turned green as the Kaldari Federation formally requested Earth's protection. The dark tide was rising, carrying with it not just the shadow of humanity's power, but the promise of a new order in the galaxy. An order built on a simple truth: those who crossed the line would face humanity's fury. Those who stood for justice would find humanity's shadows fighting by their side. Deep within the void nexus, where even starlight feared to tread, the last holdouts of the Axiom Empire gathered their remaining strength. Supreme Archon Vexthor, his crystalline form now streaked with stress fractures, faced the assembled war council. The once mighty chamber, carved from living crystal, felt small and fragile compared to their former glory. The humans have overreached, he declared, desperation making his translated voice sharp. They've spread their forces too thin protecting their new allies. The time has come to remind the galaxy why the Axiom Empire ruled for 10,000 years. Unknown to them, in the quantum shadows of their secret fortress, Commander Aria Phoenix of Earth's elite shadow operations watched through enhanced senses that defied Axiom detection. Her neural implants transmitted everything back to the EFS Nemesis, where Fleet Admiral Santos prepared humanity's final answer to those who refused to learn. All pieces are in position, Aria subvocalized through the quantum network. Operation Eclipse is ready. Across the galaxy, humanity's influence had reshaped the cosmic order. Dozens of species now thrived under Earth's protection, their worlds guarded by ships that moved like shadows between the stars. But the Axiom loyalists had spent months gathering their scattered forces, preparing one final attempt to restore their dominion. They didn't realize they were playing directly into humanity's hands. Begin the countdown, Victor Santos ordered from the Nemesis's command deck. Show them why the shadows are waiting. The Axiom attack began with characteristic arrogance. Hundreds of crystal ships, their forms rebuilt with desperate innovation, emerged from hidden shipyards. They struck at seemingly vulnerable human outposts, at newly allied worlds, at trading routes protected by too few visible defenders. But humanity had learned well the lessons of shadow and fury. Multiple Axiom battle groups detected, reported Strategic Director Zara Khan from Earth Command. All moving exactly as predicted. Initiate Protocol Omega. What looked like easy targets transformed into carefully laid traps. Shadow Fleet vessels emerged from quantum space, their advanced technology now merged with innovations learned from a dozen allied species. Their hunting grounds the Axiom thought they'd found became killing fields where their ships shattered like glass sculptures in a storm. In the Void Nexus, Aria's team moved with lethal precision. Their enhanced bodies, perfected through years of evolution and technological advancement, made them living weapons. They flowed through crystal corridors like liquid shadow, their very presence causing the Axiom's technology to shiver in recognition of superior power. How? Vexthor demanded as alarms blared through his fortress. How did they find us? How did they know? We knew everything, Aria said, materializing in the council chamber. Her tactical suit seemed to drink in light itself, its surface rippling with quantum energies that made the Axiom leaders' crystalline forms resonate with fear. We let you gather. We let you plan. We let you think you had hope. Through quantum screens, the Axiom leaders watched their final offensive crumble. Human ships moved with impossible precision, their weapons turning crystal to dust. But more terrifying were the shadows that moved between the battles, ghost ships that appeared and disappeared, striking from angles that shouldn't have existed. You still don't understand what you awakened, Aria continued, walking around the council table as her team secured the chamber. When you crossed that line, when you thought you could harvest human potential, you didn't just make an enemy. You created something new. The Nemesis appeared in the void above the fortress, its massive form a testament to how far humanity had come. Not just a warship, but a symbol of what happened when humanity's potential was truly unleashed. The Shadow Fleet stands ready, Victor's voice echoed through the chamber. The fury of Earth awaits your word, Commander Phoenix. Arya faced the Axiom leaders, her enhanced eyes glowing with controlled power. You had your chance to accept the new order. To understand that the galaxy no longer belongs to empires that prey on the weak. Instead, you chose to remind everyone why you needed to fall. Through her neural link, she sent the signal. Across Axiom space, quantum bombs detonated, not destroying their targets, but transforming them. Crystal cities became normal stone. Mighty warships turned to simple glass. The sophisticated technology they'd used to dominate others for millennia simply devolved. This is humanity's final answer to those who crossed the line, Arya declared. Not extinction. Not mere defeat. But the removal of everything you used to threaten others. Your empire ends today, but your people will live, as a reminder of what happens when you awaken humanity's wrath. In the aftermath, as human ships secured the transformed Axiom worlds, Ambassador Raven addressed the Galactic Assembly one final time. The chamber that had once buzzed with fear of human power now hummed with respect and alliance. Let the fall of the Axiom Empire stand as both warning and promise, she said, her voice carrying to representatives of hundreds of species. A warning to any who would follow their path of domination and cruelty. And a promise to those who seek justice and protection. She gestured to the massive display showing the new galactic order, a network of allied worlds bound not by fear, but by mutual respect and the shadow of Earth's protection. They crossed a line, Raven concluded. Earth answered with shadow and fury. But from that response, we built something greater than revenge. We built a future where the strong protect the weak, where potential is nurtured, not harvested, and where the darkness between the stars holds not terror, but hope. As the assembly erupted in approval, Arya stood on the observation deck of the Nemesis, watching the transformed Axiom homeworld rotate below. Their crystal spires now simple stone, their mighty technology reduced to basic tools. They would survive, but never again would they threaten the galaxy. Was it worth it? Victor asked, joining her at the viewport. All the changes we underwent, the shadows we embraced, the fury we unleashed. Arya watched as ships from a dozen allied species moved through the system, helping to establish the new order. The Shadow Fleet moved among them, no longer hidden but a visible reminder of humanity's promise to protect. They crossed the line, she replied simply. We answered with shadow and fury. And in doing so, we didn't just end an empire, we built a better galaxy. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the dawn of a new age. An age born when humanity showed the galaxy that crossing the line had consequences, but standing together had rewards beyond measure.